How fast can you react? This is probably the most important question a game can ask you. How quickly can you take a bunch of information and turn it into action? That's what a lot of games are. What if we, say, took that philosophy and made that into an entire game? Okay, let's place a light right about here. Now, when this light lights up, we'll see how fast the player can turn off the light with his button. Right, how's that? Well, that's a start, but how can we expand upon this? I know, we'll make the game a bit more fair. I'll allow you to anticipate the signals, so we'll get rid of the light and replace it with a column. Okay, let's put a little rectangle and have it fall down the screen. Now we'll have the player hit the button when the rectangle hits the bottom. It's a little better, but it seems like something's missing. What's that? Ah, I know what to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. While people like to recount the story time and time again of how video games got more sophisticated visually, I think it's equally as important to pay attention to our second most important sense: sound. After all, while we've been able to see video games for as long as video games themselves have existed, we haven't been able to hear them for quite as long. Back then, the hardware itself was too limited for it to even matter. But before I delve into the rabbit hole of computer sound, let's skip to 1982 to the invention of the technology that will become key to today's exhibit: the compact disc. This mighty contraption, invented by Sony and Philips, was an entirely digital medium for music. But later on, the format expanded into the CD-ROM, a type of CD that could store computer data, including digital sound. The CD-ROM soon became the dominant format for multimedia presentations, and soon found its way into video games. The invention of the CD, and by extension, digital sound, laid out the foundation for experiences with music itself. In rhythm games, it matters not how the game looks, but how game developers use music to design interactive experiences. And that's where our story begins. Parappa the Rapper is considered by many to be the first ever music video game when it was released in 1996. Masaya Matsuura was a musician under Sony Music. He wasn't too fond of appearing in music videos, then a fledgling entertainment form in the 1980s. When the CD-ROM started to take off and the original PlayStation was in development, he wondered how he could take his music and create an interactive multimedia experience surrounding his work to avoid this. It was then that he came up with the idea for Parappa the Rapper, a new game which told its wacky story entirely with music. The game involves players repeating a sequence of inputs the master tells them, similar to Simon, but while taking rhythm into account. When you press a button on the controller, a rap phrase plays, so it's important to keep up so that everything flows together. The end result is a game where players have fun with the music. But that's the key. This game may be another spin on Simon, yes, but it's the music that holds the game together. Though on a technical level the sound and inputs are separate, the inputs are placed along the track such that they line up rhythmically with the music.
In the rain or in the snow, I got the funky flow, but now I really got to go.
In the rain or in the snow, you got the funky flow, but now you really gotta go.
The toilet over there will bring you luck, so give up, I got no time to spare.
The toilet over there will bring you luck, so give up, I got no time to spare.
It's this point that makes Parappa the Rapper a rhythm game, and it sets the basis for what a rhythm game should be. The music and interaction must complement each other to challenge the player's sense of rhythm. The arcade is a special place. Not only is it a place where you can play video games for all the money you had in your pockets, but it also allows manufacturers to get creative with new control schemes. After all an arcade cabinet is a bunch of electronics thrown into a case. This means in theory you could forego the joystick and create something new. And that's what Konami did in 1997. This is Beatmania. Not a lot about this game is known in the West, but it was a major stepping stone in rhythm games. Parappa was a game where you echoed some Rap Master, but in Beatmania, you're a DJ. The controller consists of one turntable and a number of keys arranged in the keyboard layout, depending on which game you're playing. The 1997 Beatmania had 5 keys to play around with. 1999's Beatmania 2DX had 7. The goal is simple: make music, please the crowd. A track with notes scrolls down a screen, and when the note hits the line, you press the button or spin the turntable. Beatmania's soundtrack ranged from a number of genres, from techno to reggae, and of course, hip-hop. How good the music sounded depended entirely on you. You have to make the music. The game used Konami's patented technology that tied each button and the turntable to a sound sample that goes along with the music you're trying to play. This is a concept known as key sounding in rhythm game circles. It was with this and the unique control scheme that you can only find in an arcade that Beatmania took Japan by storm, selling 25,000 units by the year 2000. And to this day, the successor Beatmania 2DX series as of 2021 is still Konami's best-selling rhythm game, only beaten by rival Namco's Taiko series. We're back with another Konami titan. While Konami was busy making control schemes under their Bemani franchise, at least one game made waves around the world. Dance Dance Revolution, originally released in 1999. While similar in concept to Beatmania, being a game about hitting notes to music, the similarities end there. The game has a colorful, noisier presentation, sporting a cabinet with flashy neon lights and colors. Its soundtrack was upbeat and copyrighted. Instead of making music, you're dancing to it. Its controller was something that was best experienced in an arcade. You have a floor pad with 4 arrow panels laid out in the cardinal directions. On the screen, arrows scroll towards a target. When the arrow reaches the target, you step on the appropriate panel with your foot. Now, while it's easy to press buttons with your fingers, it was a real challenge to move your feet where you want them to go. Like Beatmania, the game was a smash hit, selling 1,000 machines when it launched. And because of its unusual controls, DDR gained a reputation as an opportunity for arcade-goers looking to make a spectacle for onlookers, leading to fierce competition, or for casuals to look silly and have a laugh in front of their friends. Now, while the arcades had the best quality experience, believe it or not, they did make home ports for this game, often coming with a soft foam pad. Now, we've seen this technology before with the NES Power Pad, but DDR is more well known for their pad for the same reason it's well known in the arcades, because it was music that influenced the design of the game. In 2005, Red Octane and Harmonix took inspiration from Konami's earlier Guitar Freaks franchise and made a new game centered around rock and roll. That game was Guitar Hero, originally released in 2005 for the PS2. It was an unusual move for both companies, as they weren't super famous, and retailers weren't keen on big game boxes, but it unexpectedly became a household name, becoming the second best-selling video game of Christmas 2005. And it was thanks to the marriage of controller and music that made the game a success. Oh, and also fun. The game featured an entirely rock and metal setlist composed of many licensed hits from decades past. Songs like Ace of Spades, I Love Rock and Roll, and Iron Man. And the game was accompanied by a special guitar controller that came in the box. The layout is simple. You fret a note on the neck of the guitar and press the strum bar with your other hand. Sometimes there's certain variations like hammer-on notes, but other than that, that's all you need to know. This unique combination of music and gameplay allows the users to get acquainted with the game in no time. The controller is shaped like a guitar, so users have a basic understanding of how to use it from the onset, just by nature of knowing how a guitar works. But the rock setting cements this game's place as a rhythm game, and it's here that anyone can figure out how to play. The music chosen for this game is purposefully licensed. Picking songs people are familiar with not only allows them to easily understand the premise of the game, but to also become more emotionally invested so they feel like they're actually playing their favorite tunes. After Harmonix was bought out by Viacom, they were put to work on a direct competitor to Guitar Hero, now being handled by Activision. And that's how the world got a rivalry unseen since Mario and Sonic. Rock Band was released in 2007 for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PS2, with the Wii version coming out in 2008. The main thing differentiating it from Guitar Hero at the time was its multiplayer. Until this point, rhythm games only needed one controller, whether it be a standard controller or a special controller like with Beatmania. But if you wanted to play multiplayer, you needed an identical controller. And then came Rock Band, which requires 3 unique accessories to play multiplayer. For the full experience, you needed 2 guitar controllers, 1 microphone, and a new drum kit controller. And the drum kit actually came with drumsticks, like actual wooden drumsticks. And now, the 4 of you are in a band. Everything about Rock Band's multiplayer was made to create the ultimate social experience. You're now working together to try to make it to the end of the song. You play your own part, sure, but you're also helping each other out along the way. You have 1 score and 1 band meter. When 1 band member fails, the meter will slowly drain until you all lose or activate overdrive. Rock Band is fun with only 1 person, but gathered with friends, it makes for a social experience like no other game. When everyone knows the same song, or maybe it's just something that 1 or 2 players are really nostalgic for, or one that just sounds good, everyone's invested emotionally, and it gives them the motivation to play through the end, and to also sing as well. In 2010, Rock Band 3 was released. It had a lot of new modes to enhance the experience, and by modes, I mean instruments. Perhaps the most publicized feature of Rock Band 3 was its new keyboard, a long-requested feature of the game. This also opened up new song opportunities. The new setlist had songs emphasizing the new keyboard, songs like Heart of Glass, Walk of Life, Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, and Bohemian Rhapsody. But this keyboard also shows off another one of Rock Band 3's features. With this keyboard and some new instruments, Rock Band 3 was also an attempt at video games as musical education. Features for new pro modes were added into the game for all instruments, and new accessories were made to support these modes. 2 new guitar controllers were made, one cheaper one with 102 frets and a string box made by Mad Catz, and the other, more curious one, a real Squier Stratocaster electric guitar made by Fender with real strings, a touch-sensitive neck, and MIDI support. Yes, you can hook this up to an amp, or you can hook it up to the game console. Perhaps the most famous accessory to release with Rock Band 3 is this device, the MIDI Pro adapter. This allows you to connect any of your existing MIDI instruments to use in the game. You can hook up a MIDI guitar, like the Squier, a keyboard, or an E-kit. The game provided some mini lessons for the curious who want to explore their instruments. It was a way for players to learn instruments, but while keeping the reward system that only a game can provide. We come to the last chapter of our journey into music interactivity, Rocksmith by Ubisoft. Unlike Rock Band 3, where its pro modes were just modes, Rocksmith was made with the intention of creating a rhythm edutainment game. Instead of having plastic instruments or highly specialized hardware, Rocksmith utilized sound detection technology and a cable plugged in to any existing electric guitar. Its audience wasn't just gamers, but those who were guitar curious from the onset. Rocksmith was designed to maximize playing as much as possible. There are mini games and tutors along the way, but the true heart of Rocksmith is getting players to learn technique and to learn songs. Instead of being locked into a single difficulty level, the game adapts to any skill levels, beginners, experts, and everything in between in real time. Rocksmith is an interesting case study into musical education in video games. Players have expressed that the game is effective at teaching players to play the guitar, while providing a high level of satisfaction from the game aspect. And while not endgame as some people might call it, Rocksmith is a stepping stone for players curious about learning guitar and proves as a way to familiarize people with the real instrument. It's not often that sound is brought up as a focal point in video game history, but with the invention of digital sound, it gave birth to a whole new genre of video games. Rhythm games are unique. It's a genre where sound takes priority over graphics, and it's one where game developers get creative in trying to make a fun game out of the simplest challenge. Whether it be through simply catchy music, or by manufacturing some arcane piece of hardware to add another obstacle. But at the end of the day, rhythm games exist to ask you one question: how fast can you react?